women oversexualized by men? Short answer is yeah, they are. Not all men do it, but I think I could speak and say that a good majority of men do. And if that's really all you wanted to know was the answer to that, thank you for watching and you have a wonderful rest of your day. But if you want to stick around, I'm going to kind of talk about my experience with struggling with over-sexualizing women and how it may have started for me. Because I think that being transparent about it and understanding why you do something will actually help you figure out how to solve the problem. And I'm going to be very transparent here, so hopefully I won't be judged too critically by whatever it is that I say by whoever may watch this video. There are some pretty major mistakes that I made that contributed to my mindset of over-sexualizing women. For a while, I didn't even really know what over-sexualization of women even meant. I thought for a long time that it was just a word that people use to say that men treated women badly, and that once I found what over-sexualization actually meant, I tried to justify it by saying that, well, if women don't want to be over-sexualized, why do they dress that way? Why are they sexy? Or why are they revealing themselves? Things like that. And I didn't even realize how disgusting, how distorted of a mindset that actually was. So for myself, I have to kind of go back all the way to about 11 or 12 years old when I started actually noticing girls. Before that age, I really didn't notice the girls around my age, or at least I don't remember noticing them. 11 or 12 is when I remember actually looking at a girl and saying, oh, she's pretty. Up until that point though, girls were just people to me. They were nothing more, nothing less. I was pretty much treating everyone the same. I wasn't really treating anyone any differently. Right around the end of elementary school and at the beginning of middle school, I started to grow up more. My voice started to crack a little more. I started to care more about what I was wearing. It was also around that time that I moved with my dad from my mom's house. I started to find my dad's adult magazines and his adult DVD collection. And I think once that started, I think that is really when it kind of kicked in overdrive for me. And I started to really look at women completely different than when I used to. More as a sexual desire type of thing instead of them being an actual human. It was also around this time that girls started to become more developed, and I started to look at their chest and their rear end more often, and I would completely stop looking at their actual faces most of the time. So fast forward a little bit, and around 7th grade in middle school, I was flirting with the teacher, and it seemed like she was flirting with me as well. To make a long story short though, me and her ended up sleeping together, and I know that is misconduct on the teacher's part, and it's considered sexual abuse. I really had no reason to make that kind of decision at such a young age. For a long time though, it was something that I was proud of. I kind of wore it like as a badge of honor. I understand now that that is kind of an idiotic way of thinking, and it's twisted and a very delusional way of thinking. And I think that that experience with the teacher, I think that actually added to my over-sexualization of women, because I started to think that I could start getting women and that I didn't need to settle for girls that were around my age anymore. I didn't get my first girlfriend until I was, I think, like 15 years old in high school, and that relationship didn't go very well, as most high school relationships, to say the least. And the reason I think it didn't go well for me was because I was still in the mindset of only wanting to have sex. And I was not really into getting to know her as a person, being with her, and actually growing with her. And I've had a few different girlfriends here and there, some hookups here and there in my life. None of my relationships ever lasted too long though, and not much had changed when it came to the way I looked at women, all the way from when I was a boy at 11 or 12 up until about 2 years ago. I forgot how exactly it happened, but I found these commentary channels recently on YouTube in like the last 6 months or so that were discussing the over-sexualization of women. And I saw that most of these channels were from women, specifically black women. And I gotta say, it was actually pretty depressing to hear some of the things that they were saying that was matching up with my behavior with over-sexualizing women. I also realized that there were no men that was actually talking about this subject. And I do think that it is something that needs to be talked about from a man's perspective as well, so that there can be an understanding from both sides, because I really want to know why men actually think this way. If we can come to that understanding, we can actually resolve the issue. Recently though, I have been trying to work on the way I look at women and not just look at them as objects of my sexual desire. Still think I do have a very long way to go. I catch myself looking still at the chest and rear end of women, trying to dehumanize them and make them have a sexual fantasy instead of looking at them as a person. And it's probably going to take me a lifetime to really learn and go against what I have been telling myself since I was a boy. I am willing to go through it. And I think that by me breaking out of this mindset, that it will go a long way in my future. Realizing how it is that I messed up with my mindset when I was younger. I know some people may say that, well, if women don't want to be looked at as sexual, then why do they dress provocatively and all this other stuff? You can't control what somebody else does. You can only control what your mindset is and how you view them. And for me, I think that me viewing women in this way of it's perfectly fine for them to be sexual, they can do what they want. For me, I have to not look at them as just something that someone I can have sex with or fulfill a sexual fantasy. That's all I have to say. Until next time.